And those who were killed and injured are not the only victims of this. For a lot of people, the sounds of the explosions, the chaos that followed, will stay them for the rest of their lives. Tom Rousey's on the ground in Boston tonight. He joins us with the latest there. Tom?
Well, Gordon, this is still fresh on the minds of everyone here in Boston, and how could it not be with so many roads still shut down, folks starting to leave flowers for those who passed away here, and also just police and National Guard everywhere blocking roads and directing traffic. Now, there were literally hundreds, if not 1,000 runners from the D.C. region in this race yesterday, and this afternoon and earlier today we got a chance to talk with some of them, and they told us what they saw through their eyes. As the sun rose on Boston today, its Back Bay area had become a virtual police state. Officers and the National Guard were everywhere. And it was obvious the law enforcement meant business. Things were so different from the way yesterday began.
Perfect day, beautiful.
D.C. resident Rachel Ackerman is a rabbi in Chevy Chase who was thrilled to be running the marathon for the second time.
It's a great energy, great marathon, wonderful spectators.
She finished and wanted to go back to see others finish.
I was walking toward the finish line when it happened.
I hadn't made it very far past the finish line when I heard the first boom.
D.C. resident Colleen Nelson was in a crowd of runners who'd finished.
I could hear screams in the distance, and a few seconds later there was a second boom.
You know, like two planes, hitting on September 11th. When you heard the second one, that's when you knew that it was something out of the ordinary.
It was just mass chaos because no one knew what was happening and no one could conceive that it might be something that terrible.
And I waited and waited.
Colleen's husband, Eric, was waiting not far away, growing increasingly worried. Finally, he saw her.
I gave her a hug and I told her, I said, babe, I think something really bad just happened.
Runners say even in the midst of the tragedy, they saw the best in people as Bostonians threw open their doors and did whatever they could to help.
I walked into a restaurant totally discombobulated, and the people there, people were inviting me to sit with them.
The runners say their hearts break for the victims and their families.
It's just a scary sign of like the world that we live in, isn't it? I mean, I think it's a real reminder of what's out there.
In the distance there, you see Boylston Street, where the bombings happened yesterday. They happened around that corner to the right. This is as close as we've been able to get to that scene since yesterday. By the way, Eric, who you heard from in the story there, is one of our colleagues at Politico. He and his wife, Colleen, say they've signed up to participate in the Marine Corps Marathon in D.C. this fall. They say they are still determined to run in that race, but they fear it will be a much different race with very high security because of what happened here in Boston. We are live in Boston. I'm Tom Rousey, ABC 7 News.
Thank you very much, Tom.